Good morning. Happy Monday. I am excited to come back at you for another week of 10-minute morning mindset. And I'm currently, the plan is to be on at 9 a.m. And with kids and school and stuff, sometimes it's not always the case, but that's definitely the intention. So if you're enjoying them, tune in at 9 a.m. I will be here. And I'm trying to also create some time in nature for myself at the same time. So doing all the things. How do you do that? How do you not multitask, but create a win-win? So I get my walk in, I'm walking the dog, doing a Facebook Live out in nature. So just like the perfect scenario. Everything is possible if we get creative enough. So this week, actually I was thinking about last week, I really loved talking about the basics. If you didn't catch the Facebook Lives last week, go check them out. They're no more than 10 minutes. I think the longest is about 7 or 8 minutes, but it's really around the concept behind morning mindset is it doesn't take a lot. If we're consistent, if we're focusing on our mindset every day for as little as 10 minutes, the change and impact can be really big. Lots of mosquitoes this morning again. I need to pack some spray or something. So this week we're talking about emotional triggers. And I remember when I first heard this concept. So today I'm really just going to dive into what they are. What does that actually even mean? What is an emotional trigger? And maybe you know, and that's great. And if not, that's great too. And I remember the first time I really understood this concept, it was a little bit for me to go, what exactly does this mean? And so this is my interpretation, my definition of emotional triggers. An emotional trigger for me is something that happens external to me that creates a story in my brain, whether I realize it or not. And then I'm triggered and I don't know and sometimes I don't understand why. So I feel an emotion one way or the other, and it's from something that had happened previously. Now, the one thing that I'm not going to get too deep into, but we know is typically, a lot of the time, they're old stories from our childhood, from our past that were unresolved. And so like like a wound, truly. And what happens is like any wound, if it's not really healed, then we go to touch it or use that part of the body and we're whew, triggered, physically in pain. It's the same type of concept, but just with our emotions. I hope that makes sense. Let me know. Sometimes things make sense in our brain, so hopefully I'm articulating it in a way that is landing. Let me know either way. And really, I'm going to dig a lot more into emotional triggers this week. Today, again, it's just understanding what does it even mean. So, if we can think of a time where I think of them also as how do I say it? Like a, it's kind of like a grenade. Such a terrible analogy, but that's really my thought process. You know, we can pull the pin on the grenade, but it doesn't go off until a time after the pin's been pulled. So when we pull the pin, something happened, something was said or done, we read something, and then all of a sudden, we're feeling a certain way. A really simple example that I feel like many people can relate to is, a comparison. So social media, which I love social media, and it can be used for good or bad. And so we're scrolling on social and we're seeing everybody else's lives that are curated. It's a curated piece of most people's lives. And so we're typically seeing all the amazing things everyone else is up to. So we could be on social media, scrolling, and the pin is pulled. The emotion, the trigger happens. And then all of a sudden, an hour later, immediately, or an hour later, 2 hours later, all of a sudden, we're feeling really crappy about ourselves. or we're, you know, going, oh, I should be eating better. I should be making more money. I should be doing this. I should be doing this. Like we're shoulding. This is because we see a glimpse of other people's lives and think, have a comparison, and then all of a sudden think to ourselves, oh, what's wrong with me? So that's just a really simple example of an emotional trigger that I definitely see happening with myself from time to time, with friends and colleagues and clients. So, and that's not obviously the only emotional trigger. And, it will trigger our story of not feeling good enough or not being enough or not doing enough or all of those old stories that many of us seem to have. So next time you're starting to, you know, all of a sudden, actually, this is it. Like for me, it's like I was fine. I was just going along with my day, and all of a sudden, boom! Wow, I feel really crappy about myself, or I feel really agitated or emotional or frustrated. I like to pause, and I'm going to get more into some action steps this week. But also, I like to pause and start to think, okay, what have I done over the last few hours? What's actually happened? Like pause, get present, and really implementing our stuff from last week, going, noticing, getting curious about, wow, what am I feeling? How am I feeling in this moment? And start to name our emotions. And the last thing I'll say is, that sounds like really easy. Sure, Jessica, yeah, just go and name our emotions. And what I will tell you is it's taken me a few years to just even get in touch with my emotions. And what I mean by that is I couldn't name them. I used to just start off and say, I'm feeling away. That's it. I'm feeling away. So if naming emotions isn't a strong thing for you, and it wasn't for me for years because I was so numb to my feelings, just notice, oh gosh, I'm feeling away right now. And then get curious about what that way is. And as you keep this practice up, because it's a practice, and as you keep it up, you'll start to notice your ability to name them. So I'm feeling away. What way am I feeling? I don't know. Okay. It's not I don't like the way it feels. It can get as simple as that. Um, and so just really, those are some points for today. I'm going to come back at you all week. We're going to talk about emotions and triggers all week. And because I work mostly with entrepreneurs, this is definitely a practice, because what can happen sometimes is, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, we start to feel these emotions, and I guess this happens for employees too. I was an employee for 20 years. It can ripple out into our work. It can affect our clients. It can affect our own visibility. It's really important. And it can affect our ability to just grow in our own personal development and in our business as well. So this is really just the beginnings of emotional triggers. Okay. I hope you're enjoying your Monday as much as I am, minus the mosquitoes. And what fresh starts we get to create today for this week, this Monday, September 13th of our life. All right, enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.